We greet our friends everywhere with Chapter 19 of Thunder in the Heather, the story of John Knox. This is another in the series, Stories of Great Christians, and is brought to you from the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago.
Aye.
And would you put another shovel of peat on the fire, John? The house should be warm for when the lads come in from the glen.
There. Now, more peat for the fire. And we must keep our new daughter warm.
John?
I'm coming, Margaret. Now, dinna forget, doctor said for you to stay in bed.
Aye, Master Knox.
And I shall be back before nightfall.
Will you, John?
I will.
Oh, I suppose Mary is hopping with glee right now. In a few hours she'll catch the horrible Master Knox in a public trial.
You must pray for me, wife, that the results of the trial will do good for the kirk.
Oh, you're sure that nothing can happen to you because of the letters you wrote? For the nobles to assemble against the Queen seems a serious thing.
An assembly's been called before in Scotland. I didn't specify the meeting would be against the Queen. The assembly was to prevent injustice being done to the men who led the attack on the Queen's chapel.
I can hardly believe anyone would dare to do it.
They dared because the laws of Scotland were being flaunted. The chaplain priest at the palace knows as well as you do that it's against the law to celebrate Mass in Scotland. Yet saying that he was only for the Queen's personal use, he celebrated the Mass, even when she was not present. He ought to have expected a riot. The people did the right thing.
I suppose. But it is strange that the Queen cancelled the trial of the men responsible.
Oh, it's just emptying the net a little of the little fish to go after the big one.
Oh, that's just what frightens me, John. The Queen is sure she has you, and on a charge of treason. Oh, John.
There's a great group of believers going with me to the palace, Margaret, who intend to see that justice is done. I have no fear of the Queen or her counsellors. God is my refuge, and I'm not to be struck down by the whim of a woman.
That little man standing at the other end of the concert table once made me weep. He has never shed a tear himself, but today I will see if I can make him weep.
The Queen's Majesty. The Queen's Majesty is informed that you, John Knox, have raised a tumult of her subjects against her, and for proof of this, your own letter was presented to her, subscribed in your name. Yet, because the Queen desires justice, she has gathered together part of the nobility to be witnesses here in this dispute between you and her.
Make him admit the letter is his.
Be pleased, Master Knox, to answer if this letter is yours.
Aye, it is. And it's unnecessary that I read it. It was copied out by my scribe, and I have such confidence in him that I'll just sign blank sheets and let him go to work on them.
That is more than I would do.
Charity is not suspicious.
Well, read your own letter and then answer to such things as shall be asked of you.
Be ye advised, all Protestant lords and men in this realm, that there is to be a public trial of the two men, John Gascoigne and Peter MacDonald, who led the attack on the Queen's chapel last Sunday during the saying of Mass, which is expressly forbidden by the Parliament of this realm. It is one thing for the Queen to... Our laws are being threatened, and are we to stand idle and do nothing? No, let us assemble to protect the kirk from such evident danger. For if two men are brought to trial for upholding the laws of Scotland, honest Christians and patriotic alike must gather to see that justice is done to them.
There now, my lords. Did you ever hear a more despicable and treasonous letter?
Master Knox, are you not sorry from your heart? And do you not repent that such a letter has passed your pen, and through you has come to the knowledge of others?
I do not understand, Lord Stuart, of what it is I'm to repent.
If the letter had contained no more than the call to the Queen's subjects and lords to gather, that would be offence enough.
But there is a difference between a lawful assembly and an unlawful one. I've called men together times without number since I returned to Scotland, and yet before this no one has ever accused me of a crime.
Then was then, and no is no. The Queen herself is now in Scotland. She is the one to call assemblies of her subjects.
I can see no difference. When Scotland was in turmoil and the Queen Regent warring against the Kirk, I called assemblies, and not a lord or earl in Scotland accused me of treason. Those were the days when the devil went about unmasked. But now he wears a light disguise.
I ask the Council of Lords to decide. Let us not be distracted by this man's trifling. The issue is this. He has called together a group of my subjects against me. Is this, or is this not, treason?
May I speak, Your Majesty?
Yes, Lord Boswell.
The issue is not as simple as that, madame. After all, Master Knox makes assemblies every day when he calls them together for prayers and sermons. Something more must be proved.
Hold your tongue. Let him make answer for himself. And I have more against him than the charge that he treasonously caused my subjects together.
What further charge, madam?
My lords, is it not treason to accuse me of cruelty? I think there are acts of Parliament about subjects so accusing their rulers.
Even if this be so, Your Majesty, how do you accuse me of this?
Return to me the letter. In the letter, you write that I am bringing the two leaders of the palace attack to trial only to prepare the way to execute cruelty upon a greater multitude.
With your permission, Your Grace, madam, I would ask a question of this most honourable audience, Protestant lords and your advisers. Is it not true that the Romanists most earnestly desire the extermination of the true Kirk of Jesus Christ and of the true doctrine that is taught in this realm?
We all know the cruelty that lies in their hearts from the time of Patrick Hamilton to the days of the Queen Regent.
I accuse not in my letter, Your Grace, nor yet do I say that ye have a cruel nature. But I affirm again that the Romanists who have inflamed your grace without cause, that the two men who stopped Mass in the Royal Chapel would be eager to exterminate the true Reformed faith in Scotland with all cruelty.
You have a way of twisting words. You may return to your home for tonight, Mr. Knox, and the Lords will vote on whether you are guilty of treason or not. Now, my wise lords, we have been over the matter several times, and we must bring it to a vote. If Mr. Knox is voted guilty of treason against me, and how could it be doubted, he must be banished from Scotland or executed. And I leave this decision also in your capable hands.
Let us take the vote. Let those who say he is guilty stand and raise swords. Your Majesty, the vote is given. No lord finds Knox guilty of treason.
The council is dissolved. Let Lord Bothwell remain. Well, Bothwell, I am through with them.
Through, madame?
Yes, finished forever with the lords of Scotland and their treachery. They are supposed to be my counsel, yet they do not find Knox guilty. These same men advise me to call Knox to a public trial.
You cannot blame them. If after hearing the matter through, they have the conscience that he has no guilt.
Then why did they tell me to bring him to trial? I am humiliated.
They try to be honest judges. I try.
They are Protestants. Even you, Bothwell, are a Protestant. Well, they shall find out that I, too, can protest. I shall never again seek their advice on any matter in this realm.
Madame, the lords are wise and know the people. They do advise you well.
Oh, yes. They have handled the matter of John Knox very well for me. Ever since I have come to this land, they have advised me to go slowly, to try to win him, to understand his outbursts. He has ranted and raged for years, and now wins me over me in a public trial. Oh, this is how my counselors advise me.
But you need advice, my queen. Even the wisest sovereign needs counsel.
And I shall get it.
From whom, if not the lords?
From Wishart.
But he is your household valet.
What I like about him, Lord Boswell, primarily, is that he does not wear a kilt. Nor does he rebel against the Church of Rome.
You would make an Italian valet your advisor?
He is a brilliant man.
How can you be Queen of Scotland if you ignore the Scots?
You shall see. And how I listen to the laws about my marriage. If I followed their advice, it would all come out like this matter of Knox. I shall marry whom I please.
Please, my queen, say no more. You're overwrought, and I pray with all my heart you do not mean these words.
Well, your Protestant prayers will go unanswered, Boswell. I am through with the lords. Oh, when I think how they clustered round me when I come to this realm 4 years ago, I thought I had won them from Mr. Knox.
And so you have. The lords do not follow Knox, even though they are Protestants. He grows too much for them, with his roaring tongue and endless abuse.
So you say, but I do not feel the lords are loyal to me.
They are loyal to the church and to the realm.
Which should be the same as to me.
Aye, but on that point, Scotland's divided.
And it is John Knox that divides the land. Oh, and I thought he would be gone for good.
Let me pour you some wine, my queen, and perhaps some music.
No. I must call my secretary. I have letters to write, Lord Bothwell.
As you wish.
Letters that would make John Knox the pack of nobles in the realm of Scotland take notice who is queen. I am going to begin the correspondence concerning my marriage.
My queen.
Would you like to be the first one in my realm to wish my happiness? I shall be the bride of my cousin, the Englishman, Lord Darnley.
And so we conclude Chapter 19 of Thunder in the Heather, the story of John Knox. This has been another in the series Stories of Great Christians, and was produced in the radio studios of the Moody Bible Institute of Chicago.